your fault.
Wipe your hands together, people. Then I saw your face. Now I'm a believer. Not a trace of doubt in my mind. Oh, I'm a believer. I believe you if I try. I thought love was something outside myself. It seems the more I looked, the less I got. Why do I try? All I get is pain. When I needed sunshine, I got rain. Then I saw your face. Now I'm a believer. Not a trace of doubt in my mind.
It's a bird. One another.
I'm a believer if I try. All right, come on. Love was out to get laid. That's the way it seems. Disappointed haunted all my dreams. Then I saw your face. Now I'm a believer. Not a trace of doubt in my mind. I'm a believer. I could leave you if I tried. I saw your face. I'm a believer. Not a trace down in my mind. I'm a believer. I'm a believer. I'm a believer. I'm a believer. I'm a believer.
Play it again, Sam. Play it again. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Are we alive, alert, and enthusiastic about our lives? I hope so. If you're not, it ain't my fault. I'm just saying. You know, that's up to you. So let me tell you a joke. And just so you know, I check these jokes out with other people before I do it. Because sometimes they go, Mo, no, you can't do that one. Remember, you're in church. Oh, okay. Arthur was sitting outside the local pub one day, quietly enjoying a pint, when a nun suddenly appeared at his table and began decrying the evils of drink. You should be ashamed of yourself, young man. Drinking is a sin. Alcohol is the blood of the devil. Arthur protested. How do you know that, sister? Mother Superior told me. But have you ever had a drink yourself? How can you be sure you're right? Don't be ridiculous, the nun said indignantly. Of course I've never had a sip of liquor in my life. Then let me buy you a drink, Arthur offered. And if you still believe it's evil, I will give up drink for life. How could I, a nun, sit outside this public house drinking, she said. He said, I'll get the barkeeper to put it in a teacup for you. No one will ever know it's not tea. Then the nun reluctantly agreed. So Arthur went inside to the bar. Another pint for me and a triple vodka on the rocks? And could you put the vodka in a teacup? Ah, the bartender nodded knowingly. Is that the drunken nun again? You never know. Today's Daily Word. How many of you have a subscription to the Daily Word? It's an awesome subscription, fairly inexpensive, I think $5.95 a year, something like that. And they even offer, if you want one and you want to give somebody else one, you get 50% off. I mean, it's practically free. And it's 2 months in each of these booklets. I get the large print, because it's just easier not to make a mistake. Not that I need large print, I'm just saying. But it does come in large print and it comes in regular print, so you can get that. But I highly recommend it. In addition to that, Monday through Saturday at 7 a.m. on our Zoom link, we have a daily word reading and 15 minutes of silence to incorporate that to start your day. So if that's something you want to create a habit with, that's a beautiful way to do it. So today's daily word, July 10th, that is today, right? It's generous is the word. Remember, it's called the daily word, and today's word is generous. And the affirmation is, I give, I share God's abundance. The limitless resources of infinite spirit flow through my loving heart and clear mind as a never-ending supply of divine ideas. I always have all that I need to live abundantly, and I share my abundance with others joyfully and freely. I give generously of my resources, talents, and skills, happy to support those I care about. I am generous with praise, gratitude, and encouragement. I give generously of my time. I am a good friend, a devoted family member, and a compassionate listener. Whenever I give without thought of reciprocation, I center myself in the divine flow. I am a grateful, trusting recipient of Spirit's unfailing generosity and a conduit through which all of God's inflowing blessings. In Proverbs 11:25, it says, a generous person will be enriched, and one who gives water will get water. And so it is. Amen. And now if you join Donna and the rest of our congregation together as we sing, I got the joy, 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 joy down in my heart. In my heart. Let's all stand. This is a jumping song, and it's an excellent song.
We're going to do it a cappella.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. You know what that
Right-o.
means? The music can't
That means
drag
that first note better be right.
Well, shit. Ready? I've got the joy, 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 joy down in my heart.
Where? Down in my heart. Where? Down in my heart. I got the joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Down in my heart to stay.
And
I'm so happy, so very happy. I got the light of spirit in my heart.
And I'm so happy,
so very happy. I got the light of spirit in my heart. I got the light of spirit down in my heart. Down in my heart. Down in my heart. I got the light of spirit down in my heart. Down in my heart to stay.
And I'm
So happy, so very happy.
I've got the light of spirit in my heart.
Down in my heart.
And
I'm so happy, so very happy. I got the light of spirit in my heart. Woo! Thank you very much. Oh. No Donna. No Donna today. Okay.
Kind of hard to follow that. Oh, the announcements for today. The first one is remember to deposit your spare change into our jar, and for the audio out in the narthex, empty out your pockets, please. We have to fill that jar up. The next one is the Spirit Group Training. It's Saturday, July 23rd. It's covering the purpose and the intention. It's a 3-hour, 9 to 12, and there will be coffee and snacks to encourage anybody who is thinking I'm going to have to bring their own. And it's if anybody is actually interested in joining a spirit group or hosting one, or just curious about what it is, it would be a good place to come and find out. And if you are on Facebook, please like our page and comment and forward items for the people who know how to do that. If you don't, the next, Jackie Dixon, I'm sorry, Jackie, are you here today?
Come on, Jackie,
Oh, there
stand up.
she is.
How's
Hi.
Jackie?
She will be, next week, she will be out in the Norfolks after service on that'll be Sunday the 17th. She will be available to assist you with your devices, your cell phone or tablet, to show you how to do that on Facebook, which I do not know, and or your tithing or YouTube or the Amazon Smile. And we're planning on having her at least once a month after this. Thank you, Jackie. That's really great, because I don't know how to do it. For those who wish to head up a service or a social project, please obtain a form from the office and submit it, fill it out and submit it back to that office. It'll be either for consideration or approval. And remember to see the ongoing events postings for our small group ministries. And there's quite a few that are very good. And if you happen to have some spare time or even make time to join with them, it would be really great. Next is our prayer box. Lastly, there's a prayer box in the back of the room on the ledge. You will find paper and pens for your request. After the service today, the prayer slips will be picked up by the chaplain of the day, and today's chaplain is George Neal. The chaplain will pray over the prayer slips, and then they are sent to Silent Unity for additional 30 days of prayer. When completing the prayer slip, we invite you to ask for what you want more of, rather than focusing on the issue at hand. An example of this is you're not feeling well, and naturally you want to feel better. So the prayer request might be for perfect healing and health for your body. When we feel overwhelmed with too much to do, our prayer request might be better for better balance in our life. I can talk. What we give our attention to grows, so we might as well pray for what we want more of, with less emphasis on the problem or situation. There is also an opportunity to have a prayer chaplain pray with anyone who would like to after the service. The available chaplains will be up front afterwards, right up here by the altar. Thank you.
The altar. Thank you, Susan. So let's get still for our meditation time. One of our tenets is that we espouse to the idea of praying and meditating. So you've just heard how to make a prayer request, and now let's spend some time in the quiet stillness to allow that intuitive nature, that process where God speaks to us, however that happens for us. And I know sometimes it happens in a song. You know, we get an answered prayer by a neighbor, or something happens to us and we realize that that answered prayer has come forth in some way. So I invite you to get still. And I define still as just an opportunity to release what's going on up in our brains. And I visualize a 4-burner stove. And on one of those burners in the front is a pot of boiling water, which has all of our current thoughts in it. And I'm encouraging you to take that pot and put it on the back burner with all that's going on, so that we can pick that up later. But for now, we want to clear our minds of all the busyness so that we can be open and receptive to hearing that still small voice. And I would encourage you to put both feet on the ground if you're comfortable with that, and open your palms, and you can lay them nicely on your lap, you know. And so this invokes an open stance. We want to open our minds, we want to open our hearts. And by putting both feet on the ground, we're grounding ourselves to the earth's energy, because it does have a pulse. And that energy can flow through us and allow us to be part of the connection that connection of God. And so if you're comfortable, gently close your eyes, and it shuts out the outer world. And should our minds pick up the things that are left for us to do, we just tell our minds, not now, not now. I'm here to listen to the still small voice of God. Today's daily word is about generous. And I would invite you to ask that still small voice, that voice that we choose to call God, or any other name you want to call. But how can you be more generous in your life? Many of us are very generous with our time, our talent, our resources. But what is it that you can become even more generous than you already are? Maybe you're a good friend. How can you be more generous with your time and your talent with a friend? Are you a compassionate listener? Maybe you're a devoted family member. Is there something within your family that you could espouse to be giving even more? And are you a conduit through which all of God's blessings flow? If your mind says you're not, then invoke the presence of God to answer that question. How can I be a conduit for God's blessings? For God's blessings are always good. Sometimes on the surface they don't feel good. But in the world of agreement and as time elapses, we realize the good in that situation. So we center ourselves in the divine flow of ideas. For the presence of God is where our divine ideas reside. And when we still our mind enough, we can hear those divine ideas. We can be inspired. It could be that intuitive voice within you, or it could be that proverbial 2x4 in the back of the head that's reminding you of who you are. As I give, I share God's abundance. So I invite you now to go into the silence for just a brief moment of time. And again, invite you that if the daily task or things that are troubling you come up, we just put them aside. Your time with God right now is to invoke the presence and to express God's blessings through your generosity. So go into the silence and listen. ever so gently return yourselves to this time and place of now, and in your own special way give gratitude for this time to just be still. And for this opportunity we are grateful, and so it is. Amen.
There's rage and terror and there's sickness here. I fight because I have to. I fight to know the truth. There's not enough rope to tie me down. There's not enough tape to shut this mouth. The stones you throw can make you bleed, but I won't stop until I'm free. Wild hearts can't be broken. No, wild hearts can't be broken. This is my rally cry. I know it's hard, but I have to try. This is a battle I must win. To want my share is not a sin. There's not enough rope to tie me down. There's not enough tape to shut this mouth. The stones you throw can make me bleed, but I won't stop until I'm free. Wild hearts can't be broken. No, wild hearts can't be broken. You beat me, betray me, you're losing, I'm winning. My spirit above me, you cannot deny me. My freedom is burning, this broken world keeps turning. I'll never surrender, there's nothing but a victory. There's not enough rope to tie me down. There's not enough tape to shut this mouth. The stones you throw can make me bleed, but I won't stop until I'm free. Wild hearts can't be broken. This wild heart can't be broken.
You know, Donna's out in the universe singing all sorts of places. So check out her website page, which is called Donna J, the Lady in Black. You're looking for something to do one afternoon, one evening, bring a couple of neighbors and sip a couple of beers. Maybe a nun will come by, and you can just have a good time listening to Donna. So enjoy yourselves. So thank you for that. So we have a lot of, how many are new people with us today? I felt like we had quite a few today. Yeah, there's a couple over there. There's a couple, yeah. The number one question I get from new people is, what is this? I have it on both sides, so no matter where you sit, it stands out and hits you in the face. And we're going to talk about that. Now, we've been in a state of above and below the line mindset for 3 years, in that range. So those of us that have been here, it's been an interesting journey. And interestingly enough, that prior to COVID, we were averaging about 120, 130 people a Sunday. Good crowd. COVID hit and people found other things to do when we opened back up. And so now we've got a wonderful array of individuals who were not here 3 years ago. Amen. Hallelujah. We're good with that. We're doing something right. So, it used to be, statistics say, that 1 out of 100 people who show up at a church ministry stay. The other 99 leave for whatever reason. Ours is more around 60. 60 out of 100 that have showed up here are coming back and staying. Doing something right. That's what it means. We're doing something right, which is awesome. Awesome. But it told me that you guys may not know what this is about. I mention it in my talks, but you still might, and we do it generally. We know that when we're below the line, when we, I always share this because everybody knows exactly what I'm saying when I say it. When we use hand gestures when somebody cuts us off, right? We all know what that means. So that would be below the line versus acknowledging that they must have some place that they need to get to, which would be above the line thinking. And for some of us, we have automatic responses to things that happen in our lives, which could be below the line, like raising your voice when somebody says something to you, reacting with defensiveness, with, these are below the line behaviors. And so my job is to make you aware of them so that you can shift. And so you can choose a different reaction, which makes us happier beings. And it connects us better with God. You see, when we have behavior below the line, it's a little harder to listen to God, you know what I mean? But when we're in a blessing state of mind, a joyful state of mind, it seems that our connection with God is a little bit more free-flowing. Do you know what I'm saying? It seems that we can hear that small voice, a little easier. And when we're in a health situation where we don't feel good, which happens, right? It's the human element. When we don't feel good, it's even harder to connect with God because our state of being is below the line. We're thinking all manner of things. This is never going to get better. I can't believe this is happening to me. I got this from so-and-so. Those are all below the line behaviors. And we're in a fear state of mind. And when we're in a fear state of mind, God's hard to get through. And we stay there and we struggle, and then we say wonderful things like, God doesn't answer my prayers. And it's precipitating, and we do that more and more, and it disconnects us even more. So how do we stay above the line in a state of joy, happiness, and euphoria for all practical purposes? It takes practice. It takes practice. Some of us live in a drama world. That's nobody here. But if you did live in a drama world where your sense of well-being is predicated on having something negative going on in your life. A happy state of mind would be greeting people with all the good that's happening in our lives, rather than focusing on all that stuff, right? Including when your favorite team doesn't win a game. How you doing? Oh, well, they lost last night. It's below the line. So, what I'm going to be doing is I'm introducing the book, again, 15 Commitments for Conscious Leaders. My job is to make you conscious, or give you the opportunity to become more conscious. The more aware you are of what you do, the more opportunity you have to shift and make a change. Because this book has 15 commitments. We're going to deal with only the first 6. So today is a general synopsis of those 6. And then for my next 6 Sunday talks, I'm going to dive deeper into each of those 6, where we get to spend 20 minutes together on each of them so that they land and you can see and become aware of, oh, below the line. Got it. I can shift here. So I want you to learn and to become aware of the shift that's needed. Because shifting, when you can become aware that you want to shift, that means you move from being closed to open. You see, we shift. We become less defensive to more curiosity. Wanting to be right, oh God, is that not the best feeling? it's better than ice cream to be right. And we will push our agenda, whatever that is, to be right. I've never done that, but I hear it's really good. Wanting to be right versus wanting to learn. Big difference. Fighting our ego for survival versus and shifting to security and trusting the process. Now, last week's homework was, and I was gently reminded of my homework on Friday night. I had some folks over for dinner, and I was asked, am I the one that you've invited over so that you could have a difference of opinion? And I went, hadn't thought of that when I invited you, but dang, I think you're right. Because remember, consciousness, and when you are aware of something, the universe will provide that for you, negative or positive. You get to choose. You say, how many of you invited somebody into your home, shared a meal that you have a major disagreement with? No one is raising their hand. Not a good sign. It means the homework didn't go well. Because in order to see the other side of a situation, you have to have a dialogue. You have to be open and receptive to that. And not wanting to be right, because you can still stand in what you believe, and so can they, and still love each other. Yeah. And still respect the other person's opinion, even if they're wrong. See? That's below the line. Because that's what's going on in my brain. Oh, I can listen all day long, but hey. See? Becoming aware of somebody else, because then our compassion can kick in. Our empathy and our awareness that you're not the only one that has this opinion. There's other opinions, there's other thought patterns around it. And we all know that our country's going through a major divide. And part of that divide is because one side wants to be right regardless of what the other side is saying. And that creates crazy making. People will do many manner of things to prove that they're right. And it's tough. It's tough on all of us. It's very tough to see this going on. And how do we handle it as Christians? Because we are a Christ-based ministry. So how do we handle that? How do we become open and receptive to somebody else's point of view and still stay within our own confine of what we believe? And the practice of that creates harmony. We say we want peace in the world, and we always know it starts with us. But when we're below the line behavior, we're far from peace. So I have a video to show you, a 5-minute video, and this gentleman is one of the authors of this wonderful book, and you can get this book soon in the bookstore, or is it already arrived? I don't know how it'll be here this week. $17 if you want the hardback. You can get it on Kindle. But this is the book that I'll be referring to for this 6 Sundays. So the author, this was a compilation of many different authors, but the primary author has created many different videos. This is a video that we've never shared here before. It's only recently come out. It's probably about 5 years old. The book is... See, and here's the thing. I want to do a caveat here. Spirit groups. So we have an introduction to spirit groups coming up on the 23rd. Sign-up sheet in the narthex. I want to know who's coming. Part of the reason I chose to do that, because we've been doing spirit groups for 3 years. So why would I do a training on spirit groups? We've been doing it. Because I discovered that we were missing one major aspect in this program, and that was creating leaders. Duh, I missed it. So I have to rediscover, retrain, and help people understand the purpose of spirit groups. So we're going to do that on the 23rd. Sign up. If you've never heard of spirit groups, definitely sign up. And it probably won't last 3 hours, but I want a window in case it does. So the point being is that creating leaders doesn't mean that you become a ministry head, although that might lead to that direction. it doesn't mean that your role within the ministry changes. Especially, how many of you volunteer? We do some role. Well, quite a few of us. Go ahead and raise your hands. Be proud of that. You have some volunteer role within the ministry. It keeps everything flowing because, heck, Tracy and I can't do everything, nor do we want to do everything, right? So we create leaders who will pick up a task and do that task and do it well. That's what a leader is. You know, it doesn't mean that you get paid more than the guy next to you, because we don't pay volunteers here. You know what I mean? See, here's the thing. I learned this a long time ago. When you pay somebody to do something, you can fire them. Right? They're on staff. If things don't go well, you can have a nice day, kiss you goodbye. Volunteers can't do that. Hard to fire a volunteer. So what we do here is, if a person is not gravitating to their role that they've raised their hand to, it tells us that that doesn't bring them joy. So they're not where they belong. So we espouse to go where you belong, where you wake up Sunday morning and go, yeah, I get to be an usher. Versus, oh crap, I'm an usher. We don't want that mindset. So we have that skill set. So anyway, let's listen to this video, because my job is to create leaders within this ministry. And it's subtle, it's very proactive, because the more you become aware of being a leader, the stronger you are in being open and receptive to hearing the still small voice of God. 5 minutes, yeah, conscious leadership.
The 15 commitments map the territory of conscious leadership. Now, before you can understand the place that they play in a conscious leader's life, you need to understand one simple construct. We believe that at any moment, every leader, and in fact every person, is either above the line or below the line. Real simply stated, when I'm above the line, I'm open, I'm curious, and I'm deeply interested in learning. When I'm below the line, I'm closed, defensive, and proving that I'm right becomes most important to me. Now, this is a simple construct, and it's one that leaders get very quickly. It's a field in which they can begin to play and discover what leadership, real conscious leadership, is all about. The 15 commitments further map that territory. So for each of the 15 commitments, we have what it looks like to be above the line and what it looks like to be below the line. So for example, the cornerstone commitments are commitments 1 and 2. In commitment 1, we discover that when a leader is above the line, they are living in a state of responsibility. We call it radical responsibility. When a leader is below the line, they're living in blame. They're blaming themselves, they're blaming others, they're blaming circumstances or conditions, and they're in this state of blame, which limits their effectiveness as a leader. So the territory, when I'm above the line, I'm in radical responsibility. When I'm below the line, I'm blaming. Commitment number 2 says that when I'm above the line, I'm in a high state of curiosity or wonder. When I'm below the line, what I'm passionate about is being right and proving that I'm right. Commitment number 3, when I'm above the line, I have an authentic relationship to my feelings, to my emotions, and to the emotions of others. I'm able to feel my feelings all the way through to completion, and then get from each feeling the wisdom that it is here to offer me and the team and the organization. When I'm below the line, what I'm committed to is repressing or suppressing or denying my feelings and the feelings of others. I believe feelings are dangerous. I believe feelings are a problem. And I want to cut them out of my life, of my relationships, and out of the organization. Of course, the catch there is feelings just don't go away. So what they do is they submerge and come out sideways. They become toxic. They color and affect the entire organization, but not in a conscious way, in an unconscious way. Commitment number 4 says that when I'm above the line, I'm committed to candor. What this means is that I reveal, I don't conceal. I openly reveal to everyone what are my thoughts, what are my feelings, what are my wants and desires, what are my instinctual knowings. When I'm below the line, I conceal. I withhold. I withhold relevant information. I withhold relevant facts. And I don't deal straight up and straight on with my truth in a given moment. Commitment number 5 says that when I'm below the line, I gossip. You see, if you repress your feelings and you don't speak candidly, it's going to come out someplace. And the place it comes out is gossip. Gossip is simply talking about somebody in a way you wouldn't talk if they were there, or talking about them in a way that you haven't talked directly to them. When I'm above the line with commitment number 5, I talk directly to people with a powerful tool called the clearing model. It is a simple, efficient, lasting way of resolving trust issues in relationships and in organizations. Commitment number 6 says that when I'm above the line, I'm in a state of integrity. I'm in a state of wholeness, energetic wholeness, we call it. See, energy's the real game now. Energy management trumps time management, money management, all other forms of management, because energy is that renewable life force that keeps me fully focused and in the game. Integrity is having unblocked energy flowing through my system all the time. The thing that we point at in commitment number 6 is that a key to having unblocked energy is to be impeccable around your agreements. When I'm below the line, I dissipate my energy, and I do it because I'm sloppy with agreements. I either don't make clean agreements, or I don't renegotiate agreements that need to change, and I don't clean up broken agreements. So these 6 commitments are the foundation of the conscious leadership group. And this set of commitments is all about mapping the territory of conscious leadership.
Pretty clear, huh? So we're going to dive into each one of these 1 week at a time. And I firmly believe, why, shifting in my thinking, why are we attracting so many new people to our ministry? Does anybody know?
Curiosity.
What?
Curiosity.
Curiosity. Okay. Anything else? Like-minded? Looking? Searching. Yep. So they walk in. What do you got? Authentic. Good stuff. All of that's true. But what's really working, the one core, is the energy. When you walk into this ministry, you feel a positive flow. Now, we may not be perfect at the front door. We may not be perfect at the welcome desk. And God knows I may not be perfect in what I say up here. But the energy trumps it. You walk out and go, you know what? I didn't understand a word she said, but I feel pretty good. And you come back because you're curious. You're open and receptive. And then you come back the next time and say, okay, starting to sink. And it's the energy field. And part of that is because many of us here are already doing most of these 6s, which is awesome. So now our job is to assure that we're doing all 6 all the time. So when you say, for example, that you're going to be an usher, somebody taps you on the shoulder and says, I think you'd make a good usher. Yeah, I'd love to be usher. Okay, great. We'll see you next week at 9:15. Yeah, I'll be here. And you don't show up. You forgot to put it in your calendar. Happens, right? It's a common problem. Whose fault is that? I didn't put it in my calendar. But what really happens is the head usher calls you and says, we missed you Sunday. We had you on the schedule. Oh, I thought you were going to send me a reminder email. See the blame? See how subtle below the line is? You're responsible for keeping your own calendar. We're adults. The head usher doesn't say that. He says, okay, would you like to be an usher? Is that something that, because the truth is that when you want to do something, you don't forget. You see that? So right away, that means that there's a flag, a yellow flag, saying this person may not want to be an usher. Let's have an honest conversation about it. And then the person says, you know, you're right. That means I got to dress up. It means I got to be nice. I don't want to be nice. I tend to get up at the last minute. It's not going to work for me. So that person might say, you know what might work for you is the community room, because you don't have to dress up and you can be late. You find where you belong. And the only way you know that is if you're integrous about that you have an honest conversation with yourself. We have a lot of different things here, you know, and I'll share a real quick story about my being unintegrous. And there was a pair of us. There were two of us that were being trained. When I was busy becoming a minister, my mentor was very clear that in the next 2 years, you will spend 6 months with every ministry in this building. Every Sunday ministry, every weekday ministry, you're going to spend 6 months in it. And you have to find out how it works, because when you go and open your own ministry, you want to be able to effectively communicate what it needs to be an usher, a greeter, or a welcome desk, all this stuff. Well, we had the greeters. This was my beginning greeter, and I was in the same role with somebody else who was also learning to be a greeter. We had 2 services, 9 o'clock and 11. The two of us were together for the 9 o'clock service. So after about 6 weeks, we never had anybody come in new to the building. So we weren't greeting new people at all. And we were relieved. And the two of us were sitting there chatting, and we realized that we had a common prayer request. Please, God, don't let anybody new come to the church at the 9 o'clock service. It was subtle, but it was in there. And we both kind of chuckled at it. So we changed our prayer request unconsciously. God, make a whole lot of people come at the 11, so that we didn't have to deal with it. A better prayer, but still below the line. We still weren't consciously aware that we were where we didn't belong. We did not want to do this job, but there we were. So we finally the two of us had a come to Jesus meeting, which is just getting honest with each other. And we said, we've got to shift. We've only got 6 weeks left of this job. Let's get up on Sunday mornings and be joyful and courageous and do this job and greet people even if we don't like them. And we did. New people started coming, 9 o'clock. Overnight. We got above the line. Now, we did not renew our 6 months with that. But we were integrous in the sense that we kept our agreement and fulfilled it. But we were below the line in a lot of that. So that's, I share that with you because it's easy to say yes to something that you really meant to say no to. And that's part of one of the agreements, to be integrous with yourself, to say, I so appreciate you. We have somebody in our ministry who I have asked a couple of times to stand up here and talk. And the answer is no, but thank you. I'm like, oh, come on. And I want to push the envelope. And then I realize, wait, they're being honest with me. So don't do that. Don't encourage them to be uncomfortable. What happens when you're uncomfortable at church? You don't come back. And that's the thing. So we're in mission-centric integral ministry program. And our mission is to transform lives, inspiring people to make a positive difference in the world. Under minister-centric, I would ask somebody to do something and they would do it even though they don't want to do it because they want to please the person that's asking them. How many of us have been in that role? Yes. Versus saying, I love you, but hell no, I'm not going to be an usher. You see? Because they don't want to disappoint the minister. Oh my God, the minister's asking me to play a role. No. That's minister-centric. Mission-centric says, I'd like you to be an usher because I think that would really move you off your position and you get to be out front, you get to whatever it is. And you get to say, maybe, maybe not, Mo. And I still love you. I don't put you on the blacklist. I don't put you on the list that says, oh, they never say yes. I don't have that list. Don't want the list, not interested in maintaining it. I want you to be where you belong. What brings you joy, whatever that is. So I invite you to take a look at the book, The 15 Commitments. I think it's a very well done. It's written in the context of corporate America, but it absolutely applies to churches. And this is one of the core texts that is utilized under mission-centric ministry. How do we become an integral process where we do not have bleeding, people leaving? The same numbers are leaving as the people are coming in. We don't want that. We really do have a 60% ratio right now of people who come. And the 40% that are coming going because somebody invited them and they never were interested in the first place, or they're from out of town, or they're going to move here in 3 years, they'll show up then. Those are the kind of people that are leaving and don't come back. Versus, yeah. You know, we've had a couple of people leave because we're an all-inclusive community and they don't want an all-inclusive. That's okay. Go where you belong. Go where you belong. It's all good. Your homework? I want you to ask guidance. Guidance is seek God's guidance in this. How can I be more open and receptive to what's going on in my life? Above the line and below the line. And you might notice on the front door 2 red lines. Because when you walk in here, we're expecting you to be above the line. It's not a perfect science. No one's going to call you on it. But it's our way of reminding you to be conscious, to be aware, and to be able and willing to shift. So your homework is ask for guidance. How can I become more aware and shift my position so that I become open and receptive to what others might be saying, doing, or even within our own consciousness? Make sense? Join me next week where we will talk about taking radical responsibility, which is the first commitment. Godspeed and namaste. With that, I invite the ushers to come around to take up a love offering, and I just gently want to remind you that our gifts, our ministry is solely supported on your gifts. We do not have a sugar daddy anywhere. If you know a sugar daddy that would like to join our ministry, I'm open and receptive to that. Good. But in the meantime, our ushers are going to take a love offering, and we have a prayer. Divine love, together. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I am grateful. And so it is. Amen.
I'm so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
Want to do a quick announcement for next
I
week's
am
offering?
so blessed.
You can say no, and you can share what happened the previous month. We just got this in the mail this week. This is the value that we put on our gifts. If you want to, and I know this is very short notice, right after the love offering, right now. I'm going to throw a mic in your hand. I thought you would be. Your intention is to just remind them that next week is the collection. And by the way, this is what happened last month. Minute. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. Please come forward. Thank you so much. Let's affirm our offertory blessing again, and this time using the pronouns us and we. Together. Divine love, as us, blesses and multiplies all that we are, all that we have, all that we give, and all that we receive, and we are grateful. And so it is. Amen. I'm going to invite Donna Keaton up to just share a real quick announcement. This is spontaneous.
Good morning. It's been several years since I've helped take things over to the Haven.
What's the Haven?
What's a Haven?
I asked you first. I don't know.
That's a good question. Thank you. The Haven is a place that takes care of battered people. It could be a husband, it could be a wife. A couple years ago, we took a tour of the Haven, and I realized that behind those doors where I took clothes all the time and food, there was something there that I didn't even know about. When a woman comes in raped, it could be from her own husband, or a man comes in battered, they medically take care of them at the Haven, and a therapist holds their hand as they go through that process. And as a nurse, I saw a different dimension to them, and I'm so proud to be the person that brings our donations that you hand to me and give to me every single month, which is next week. And they write us letters of appreciation. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but they said, our kindness and our blessings. In our organizations, we are so thankful to you. And they mean that. I know them. I go there, I open the doors, I'm there, and I want to thank you for bringing your donations of food and clothing that I can take them over. Thank you.
Thanks, Donna. So the third Sunday of every month, she collects this along with Susan Schroeder. So we have 2 vehicles with the trunks open, so you know, when you go to Publix and there's the BOGO and you only need 1 can of Campbell's soup, but they offer you 2, pick the second one up, bring it in, you know, and donate that. There's a lot of opportunity. But every month they send us the value of our gifts in that letter. Awesome. Thank you so much, Donna. I asked this once before, who are the guests with us today? If you just gently raise your hand so we can just acknowledge you. We have a prayer for you. You ready to receive a prayer? Right, I hope so, right? We love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ as you. And so it is. And I hope that you received a welcome package. If you did not, please raise your hand. We'll put one in your hand. Good. That means the welcome desk is right on target. And I hope that you'll fill out our welcome card. Tell us who you are and get yourself on our newsletter and all that wonderfulness, good stuff. And thank you for joining us. So now let us stand for our congregational song, the peace song, and the prayer for protection.